Hello everyone, Random Gamer Ribbon here on behalf of Randomised Gaming. Just going to give you a quick introduction and overview into this video as I'm going to be playing through Wild Arms 2 Second Ignition. And this is going to be the Ashley prologue. Ashley's one of the three main characters. Some of the early games in the Wild Arms series did have this quite nice system where you had each of the starting mainline characters, each had their own prologue, and then you'd start the main game, and then they'd all meet up in the main game. Quite nice. Was a little bit slow to get started, I must admit. Now, this was the second Wild Arms, although technically you could argue it's the third if you include it as part of the Gunner Haven series, as Gunner Haven is part of the Wild Arms series in effect. So I'm not sure which is the master and which is technically the spin-off. But because arguably you could say Gunner Havens was a spin-off of Wild Arms, but technically as Gunner Havens was first, Wild Arms is technically a spin-off of Gunner Havens. And Wild Arms 2 does actually include the characters from Gunner Havens, or Rapid Reload as it was called in POW. You actually can meet them in a bar called Gunner's Haven in this one. So this is the opening introductory section to Ashley's. So I'm going to sort of explore the whole area, just sort of do a few chatting to all the troops and stuff. I really wanted just to show you the whole sort of location, spinning the camera angle, etc. And we go through the whole sort of storyline, fight the boss at the end, etc. It's quite a nice little introductory. It's quite a good sort of section to actually video as well from our perspective, because one of the problems I have with RPGs, we said before, is I really would love to do some full RPG playthroughs, but they are just so time consuming to play through and require so much content, and then you're releasing about 3 or 4 videos off the trot all for one game, and you're not always sure how well they're going to do. This is arguably the best installment of the Wild Arms series, and it was released in Japan in '99 and it was released in North America in 2000. To date, it has never been released in Europe or the PAL territories, which is a big shame. I've had to import a North American copy relatively recently. In fact, the first time I played this game was 2019, but I've been really enjoying it. And it's a real shame this hasn't yet been released. So if any members of Ski are watching this, please do at least release it on PSN. Quite why they didn't release it as a PS1 download, I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of rights licensing, but it would be nice to actually have it, as it's the only mainline game in the Wild Arms series that hasn't yet been released in Europe. This one is quite a bit bigger than the original game, as it actually covers 2 discs, and as you can see here, it's all in 3D, whereas the original game was sort of a 2D 3D hybrid. This is actually a really big game in comparison to the original. The original one was quite a nice tight little RPG. This one is really, really big, lots of locations, lots of characters, so there's more than just the initial 3 characters to recruit, lots of hidden bosses. Arguably, this is possibly the best game in the series, using the sort of classic turn-based Final Fantasy style RPG combat. And I do like this style of world view as they do it. Admittedly, this reminds me of this, I think Grandia used it first, but I do really love this style of look. This one reminds me a bit of Shining Force 3 with the sort of how the area locations are built as well. Really lovely looking game, really enjoyable. Just going to play through this opening section, so I'm not going to say too much more. Basically fight the boss, as I said. I won't be running from any fights, because I've seen a few long play videos where people sort of run from the fights. Like, no, I'm an RPG fan. Well, the whole point of an RPG is to battle. That's what RPG fans are there for. I mean, yes, there's a story, but I know myself that to me there's always the challenge of fighting the bosses and fighting the harder bosses. So having like hidden bosses in RPG was always very good. I've not actually finished this yet. I'm still currently playing through it, but I do highly recommend what I played through so far. I'm still on the first disc, but it is a very, very good RPG. And if you like this sort of old school style RPG, really well done. It's just a shame we're still waiting on European release. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. As always, if you like this video, hit a like button, subscribe, etc. Yada yada. Hit the bell for notifications, you know the rest. And enjoy Wild Arms 2. Oh, and listen to the music as well. Apologies, I've been speaking over it briefly. The music is fantastic in this.